Hello, good morning. Hi guys, I hope you're doing well and that the pandemic is being kind to you. And if it's not, then I pray that the future will be kind to you. Today, I'd like to talk about my journey of learning how to play the guitar. And to get into that, I'd like to first start with one quote quickly. Every artist was first an amateur, and that thing, I don't think there's anything more true. Okay, there probably is, but that is very true. Like, there's no lie in there, no lie detected at all in that statement. And that's just because some people tend to see someone do something and they go, oh, he's so talented. It's not really. I mean, some of them, they work so hard. Like, some of these musicians spend 20 hours a day for 7 days straight rehearsing one song. So it's not necessarily talent. Maybe if you call the ability to persist and work really hard in something talent, then yeah, they are bloody talented. In any case, I want to talk about playing guitar. So before I do that, I just want to demonstrate that I can kind of play guitar so that you don't... Wow, did I just kick the camera stand? I am so sorry. Bear with me. So yeah, I've just tuned it. I've got new strings. If that doesn't convince you that I can play the guitar, then wow. But I just want to talk to you because you saw the title. I learned how to play guitar in literally like a month, and it was crazy. Like, it was really, really crazy. This journey of learning how to play guitar, because I was very competitive. Because when I say learned how to play, I mean I could do things like what I just played now after a month of learning. And so you can try and compare that, because some of y'all might think because you learned how to play G major, the chord, that thou can play guitar. How dare you? But it did. But honestly, so it took me like a month, but it was intense. So I'll explain to you. So what happened is, my dad had been trying to get me to learn music for like 3 or 4 years before 2010, and it just hadn't been working. It was 2018, 2011, and it just hadn't been working because I didn't want to, and he wanted me to, and I was like, go learn it yourself and stuff. So it was very resistant and stuff. So you can't really teach someone something that they don't want to learn. Like, that's something that is very, very crucial whenever you're trying to teach someone. And I've learned it through, because I've taught people a lot of things. Like, I've been a tutor in various subjects and stuff, and even teaching music. And that's something I've realized, like, you legit can't teach someone something if they don't want to. But what happened in 2008 was I finally wanted to, but there was no teacher. Then finally my dad got a guy, Toto, legendary musician, great at what he does. My dad was like, I really need this oak to learn how to play. Me and my brother, he was like, these oaks, I need them to play instruments proper and stuff. And Toto was like, okay, sharp, I need a lot of money right now, so let's do this. Pay me a lump sum, and I will dedicate like the next, as however many years it takes, to make sure that these oaks can play these instruments very well. And my dad was like, that's a lot of money, that's a lot, because it was a lump sum, because music is generally very expensive to learn. And oftentimes people offer you this thing of, I'll teach you 1 hour a week and you pay me this much 1 hour a week. It's not a good idea. I don't recommend that way of learning music. I don't think so. I think that kills a lot of people's passion and drive and motivation. And I would really advise that you try to go for something that tends towards more what I am explaining, that what I did here, because it gives you like momentum faster. Because learning an instrument is a difficult thing, but it doesn't have to take you forever. You don't have to play for 5 years like you've started learning yesterday in order to get good at it. You can do it at the pace that you set, but try to not set 1 hour a week. That's way too little. It will take you forever to get anywhere. And so yeah, so what I did was, so what Toto did basically is, he realized, okay, I need to do this thing and get this kid to play guitar and impress his father, because he's making a big investment here. And so what Toto did was, he started day one, we did 3-hour lessons. So every lesson was minimum 3 hours, and at least three times a week. So it was 3 or 4 times a week for the first month. I think it was about, no, not 3. It was 4 times or 5 times a week, 3 hours a day. And so by the end of that first month, I was playing things that people who I knew had been learning for like 2-3 years couldn't play at all. And that's just because that to the concentration there of correction and showing you, no, do this is much more concentrated if someone is teaching you in that amount of time. And also you barely have time to forget anything or get bored and stuff like that. So it reached a stage, of course, because you can imagine I was pretty young then. I'm not gonna say how old, but I was about 14, 15. The thing is, it reached a stage where I used to not want to come home from school because I knew that he would be there and I would have to go through 3 bloody hours of my fingers hurting like hell. And but I knew that I'd get hungry, so then I would stay after school like 2 hours extra just so that I can avoid him. Then I get there and he'd still be there. I'm like, oh my word, does this man, who is the legal guardian of this man? Can you tell him to not torment me like this? But yeah, I'd get there and he'd be there, and then we'd do the 3 hours. And of course, it came at a very expense because I was in school. I nearly failed the term because of this, because it continued. It wasn't just a month, like it was like the first 2-3 months that we just did 3-hour lectures at least 4 times a week. But by the end of it, I was able to teach myself and go with momentum and do things like YouTube videos. I really don't recommend starting with YouTube videos because just you have no path. You just jumping here. Some of the videos are this difficult, some are here. Like there are some YouTube videos that I Google for beginners and I am like, that's not for beginner, I'm struggling here. So it's not the best thing. It's better to get a person and to teach you at least for the first few months or something like that, and then maybe try to self-teach once you understand everything, like the minors, the majors, the scales, because then YouTube people won't confuse you also by scoping out steps or omitting other information or necessary detail. Anyways, that's how I learned it. It was just about compacting things, and I think that everyone should try and do that, like maybe have 2-3 hour lessons or even 3 1-hour lessons per week. And it might seem expensive. That's the problem that I've seen with a lot of people that I've been teaching, is that they think it's expensive, but it's not really, because even if you go with a guy who teaches you 1 hour a week for a year, you're going to end up spending the same amount of money just over a prolonged period, which kind of is fine because your salary comes over a longer period, but your motivation doesn't really, and your commitment to learning something like this doesn't. So maybe save money then, so that you have a lump sum like how my dad did, and then go into it with the teacher. And also remember, if you do like a lump sum payment with a teacher, you can always negotiate a cheaper price. Anyway, this video is getting very long. Thank you for watching. Keep up, bye, stay safe, and remember, the pandemic is temporary, but music and your skills in guitar, that is eternal.